What's up, guys? Today we're going to be taking a look at an idea I had, and I'm going to show you how to set it up for yourself. But first, let's start with the basics. There are three basic security levels. If you go into your settings, you go up here to what they call the burger button, then go into settings. Then you'll go to security and privacy, and in here you can change it to the safest mode if you want the most security. Now, what is the issue with this? Well, one problem is when you change this mode, it breaks many websites because so many websites today rely on things like JavaScript. So you can see what it actually disables here. Now, if you're just opening Tor Browser, you just installed it, well, it's going to be on standard mode. So basically everything's enabled. That also brings some risks. The good side is it won't break as many websites, and the bad news is if there were a 0-day in something like Firefox, you could be exploited. So you might want to go with safer mode, which shows you that JavaScript is disabled on all non-HTTPS sites, and some fonts are disabled, as well as play video, push to play video on HTML5 media. Now, the safest setting is going to break some websites, and I'm going to show you, what I've put together, just something really simple, and I'm going to show you how to set it up yourself. So here's the problem with this. Anytime you change it, let's say you're doing some open source intelligence research, and you want to be as safe as possible. You do not want your research having anything to do with leaking your identity. Well, you want to go on safest mode. And what's the problem with that? Well, anytime you change a mode, look at that. You can't just change it. You have to save and restart. So I'm going to show you a little solution so you won't have to do that anymore. But first, let's go into why we want these settings ability to change these settings. So this is the official Tor Browser website that is talking about it at the onion address. Shows you the security levels as I just went over briefly, and it shows you how to change those modes. Now, let's take a look at why it's such a concern. Well, of course, things like browser fingerprinting. Websites can use JavaScript to gather information on a device. Things like that. Tracking by third parties, exploiting vulnerabilities, like I mentioned. If there's a 0-day in Firefox, which we saw within the last couple of years, and we've also seen real cases in real life, such as this demonstration that was using JavaScript to get a user's real IP address. And there was also the case of a company called Freedom Hosting, which happened to provide things such as Tor Hidden Onion site hosting. Now, there were some people who abused their hosting services to host things they weren't supposed to host. Now, in that way, they ended up becoming under some kind of an investigation of the users that were visiting those sites, and in that way, they used an exploit to reveal the users of those websites. Now, listen, I want to make clear that I did not support any of the kind of horrible content that some of those sites had. Needless to say, we can learn a lot about how these types of attacks work just by looking at the real-world stories. And let's be honest, the only way security and privacy is going to be tested in the real world is if there are people who do silly and stupid and dumb things. And that is how we learn about what's actually happening in network security and privacy, is by the people who are doing things they aren't supposed to. Now, it doesn't mean that we support that activity. It just means that we can learn from the techniques that are used to harden our own security. So this was also demonstrated, this particular JavaScript attack, by Manfred Paul at the Pwn to Own hacking contest, and got a user's real IP address through JavaScript. Now, there's other things here, talks about hardware fingerprinting as well. So the problem is that JavaScript and things like it are going to weaken your security. So you want to disable it, but the problem there is, let's say you want to change the mode just temporarily. Well, you got to restart. You have to stop your Tor connection, completely exit the browser, and completely restart the browser anytime you change these. Wouldn't it be convenient if you didn't have to restart anything? Well, I'm going to show you what you can do. In fact, I've done a little bit of a demo for you. So here's what we're going to do. We're actually going to make a profile Okay, we make a profile, and we're going to make a new profile for safest mode. And we're not going to end there. So at this point in time, we have the safest mode opened already. Now, if you open a regular Tor browser, it's going to open with the default enabling JavaScript and everything else. But the whole reason for that is for a good reason, because Tor browser users don't want to break websites. So you have to actually change those security settings to get a more hardened browser. So if you don't go with the safest mode, at least go with the safer mode, so you're a little bit safer if you can. And I'm going to show you how you can use both at the same time. We created these shortcuts here. Look at that. So easy as that. And what's cool about this is you do not have to connect twice. You can use the same Tor ports. So if I were to, right now I have the safest profile open. So anytime you create a browser profile, you can customize it any way you see fit. So you can make additional changes. I'm just going over this very simple standard Tor browser shortcut here, and then safest mode Tor browser here. Is just an idea I had because I was sick of having to restart the entire browser every single time I wanted to open a website that broke on safest mode. So let's open the other profile, which is the standard Tor browser. Now you'll see this little Tor exited during startup, and that's because I've already connected a Tor over here. So you just hit OK. You don't have to restart Tor. Just hit OK. And in this point, I have two different windows open. I have the safest security mode on this one over here that I'm highlighting with my mouse, and then I have the standard Tor browser here. So you don't have to hit connect again because you already have a Tor connection going on the Tor browser. You're just using two different security levels, two different browser windows, two different major security changes. So with this, I have JavaScript enabled. So JavaScript enabled, it will load any JavaScript on any pages over here. So say I need something to load in a website that won't load on safest mode, and I still want to take the chance. Now keep in mind, anytime you aren't using safest mode, you're not going to have as much security, of course, if you're on the standard settings. So you may like my idea to create these shortcuts, and I'm going to go through how we can do that together today. So we're going to be going through that. So right here, you're going to have a safest mode browser window and then a standard Tor browser window. Now I could go a step further. I could make a copy of this. I could go and paste it. Okay, and now let's say I want to make a medium. Like, let's just say I want to do safer mode. Say I want all three modes. And the beauty in this is you will not have to actually you won't have to restart the Tor browser. You won't have to reconnect. All of those things that take time and also force you to close out all of your active windows. So you lose all of the websites that you're looking at unless you bookmark them, because Tor browser is not retaining your history. So this to me was a perfect solution for my needs, and hopefully it helps someone out there. I want to send a shout out to members. Thank you so much for supporting the channel and the blog that makes these videos possible. Really appreciate you guys' support on that. Now let's go ahead and create a new profile as a demonstration. You can follow the same to make the safest browser shortcut, but today what we need to do is make our medium, our healthy medium. So we'll go ahead and do create new profile. First you'll go to about : profiles, then go to create new profile, and then what we'll do is we'll go in here and we will call it safer Tor browser. And then you can see here the full path of it right down here that it's going to be saved in. And we're going to need that path after we create this to create our shortcut. So go to finish, and at this point we've gone to finish. Now one thing I want to mention is you do have to be careful not to mix your windows up, because of course if you mix them up you may not be as safe if you're on the other one. So what I need to do to be able to change that newly created profile that I just showed you creating is I need to launch it in a new browser window. Okay, so now we have our new browser window here. And what do I need to do? Well, of course I need to go into settings. I need to go to security and privacy, then go down here. I want to change it to safer mode. So that will be 3 different shortcuts, all 3. In fact, you can use all 3 windows at the same time without ever losing your work, without ever losing the websites that you are working on. So that way you don't have to bookmark them all for your privacy. You can just go to save and restart. That's only the first time you have to do this, because anytime you're changing the security mode, it forces you to restart. Okay, now at this point, what I'd like to do is just confirm that it saved that setting, which I do recommend you do. Go back here, scroll down to security. Okay, we're on safer. So we have 3 different ones. Like I said, make sure you don't mix them up. But when you click those shortcuts, you will definitely be opening the correct one as long as you're doing this correctly. So at this point, I have the safer mode, I have the safest mode, and I have the standard Tor browser window. So at this point, what do I need to do? Well, to create that shortcut, now I could use this right now. It pretends it's not connected, but because I already connected in another window, so don't mind this connect to Tor thing, test, just to show you. And even further test, what is my IP address? Okay, so what is my IP address? This is safer mode. Okay, it's showing my IP address, so unfortunately I just revealed my identity to everyone on the internet. It's a real shame. Oh well, I guess I'll have to start another channel. Alright, so let's get into the terminal and just, actually you don't even have to get into the terminal. You can go here, go to Edit Launcher, and then here's the command. Now, I can leave that on the blog so you can copy and paste, but the main thing is, what you need to do, in fact I am going to open a terminal because I do not like this. Actually, I can extend this. So what you need to do here is you need to have it execute the browser, and then you have -- profile. So that's going to open the profile you want. And because we are editing the safer mode profile shortcut that we just created, let's go back over there. Okay, so what we need to do, let's just copy and paste this little root thing here, and then what I need to do is replace this where I made the copy of it, the actual profile location, with our new profile location. So we'll do that, we will do that, and end it with a quote. Okay, so just follow closely. /bin/bash. In my case, you don't have to use bash if you don't want, but I'm using it because that's what I'm using. So then at this point I can just hit save. Okay, I am saving it. Now I have 3 windows open. Here's the safer profile. Let's make sure it really works. So let's test our shortcut out. And like I said, the beauty in this is you never have to restart your browser, lose all of your shortcuts when you want to change a security mode. You can have all 3 different security and 3 different browser windows dedicated to each security level. So go ahead and double click your shortcut, see if it works. Okay, look at that, it does work. And as said, you don't have to pay attention to this. We've already connected, but let's just double check one last time for our loading the correct profile. Okay, it loaded the correct profile because I copied the exact location of what we wanted. So, you know, leave a comment if you have a question on this. I don't want people to make a mistake, of course. I want to make sure everyone's as safe as possible. So feel free to leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this idea. For me, it was a great idea for me because I was tired of, you know, momentarily wanting to change to safest mode, and then suddenly I have to restart the browser, lose all my tabs, and just have to connect all over again. So I didn't want to have to do that. So that's it, really. It's that easy. You can do this too by following today's video, and you can follow it on each profile you want to make. Follow the same thing. You just saw me demonstrate how to make a safer mode shortcut. Well, all you got to do is, and I will copy and paste my actual command for opening that profile, and you can replace it with the location of your profile. Hope this makes sense. I hope I didn't confuse anyone. Trying to make this and keep this video real simple, but for me this was a great idea. For me, it saves me a lot of time, and I can use all 3 security levels at the same time in 3 separate windows. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you think it would be helpful for me to upload examples of the shortcut, I'd be happy to do that on the Gidea Onion. Let me know what you think in the comments, guys, and thanks again for all your support, sharing these videos, leaving comments, likes, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any unique tips like I shared today. And I will see you guys soon in another video on how to protect your security and privacy.